Hello, my name is Jon Lang. I do stand-up comedy. I pay bills as a secretary. I got my master's degree in film. Like when I graduated from film school, I drove out west, and the plan for me was to live the dream. Within 2 weeks, I was shooting porn. And my first job, any job, was I made $150 shooting internet porn. Not quite what I was looking for. Then I started realizing that, like, the hours in film weren't ideal for me. If I wanted to be lazy, I thought stand-up was the way to do it. So I started doing open mics and trying to find like the perfect crappy job. So like in the day, I would like be a secretary, and then after 5 o'clock, I would do stand-up. And 7 years later, I'm still a secretary, and I'm still trying to do stand-up, and I'm also, I guess, kind of a writer. Like I would like to be potentially like a Judd Apatow kind of thing, like where it's like, slice of life, kind of like teen comedy. I think I'd like to break into that market. And what's your next question? I'm from Syracuse, New York. I'm from upstate. Went to school at Northwestern, American University, Florida State, and then I lived in Cali for 2 years. Yes, I am way overqualified. There's no need for me to have a master's degree doing what I do. I think it's just so I can let people down. People find out, wow, you have a master's degree. So what do you do? Oh, I print things out. I fix the copier when it jams. Why do you have a master's degree? Not necessary. It is not necessary. You have a master's degree and you're a secretary. That is correct. But then I feel insecure. I'm like, well, I also do stand-up. And they're like, how long have you been doing stand-up? Like 7 years. And you're a secretary? You're still a secretary. I'm not that ambitious. I gotta be honest. I'm not that ambitious. Like, I don't know if I can blame my dad, but he's like in his 80s, and I've never seen him work a day in his life. Like, he has always been retired. He seems happy doing the crossword. I'm happy doing the crossword. Man, I can chill in an airport doing a crossword. Like, I'm happy doing that. Unfortunately, I'm funny, so I feel this like need to do stand-up. It was always this comedy, comedy from any level. Like as a kid, I loved Far Side cartoons. Like I loved The Simpsons. I loved Conan O'Brien. I loved Jon Stewart. But the comedian that really made me feel like I can do this on stage, David Cross, Mitch Hedberg. I like David Cross because I felt like he always could get like a political point across, and it seemed like he got some passion. And then Mitch Hedberg was just a goofball. Like anytime I'd bring a girl home, like the make or break was if they dug strategic grill locations. If they laughed at that stuff, that was like my Dave Matthews Band. I'd put that on in the background. I'd be like, consider us the same. If you like this, you like me. And that was my, that was my wah chicka wah. Instead, it would be him and his one-liners. I'll tell you a story. I graduated from film school, and the day I graduated was pretty much the first day I did stand-up comedy. Like, it was pretty much after I paid all this money, got this degree. I was like, man, 14-hour days are the worst. How can I get this, like, funny gene? How can I, like, be funny, but without having a crew of people around me? I really dig the idea of a microphone and a guy and, telling your stories. Like, I don't need a boom op, to be funny. Just give me that microphone. And, like, film school gave me, like, an understanding and appreciation for, like, writing. But what I really dig was just being the funny guy at the party, and to find a way to do that and to make a living at it, well, that's why I'm still, got a day job. First time I did stand-up, I remembered it was an Oscar party, and my best friend was like, how would you like to just go up on stage, man? Go up on stage and just do stand-up. So I pretty much ambushed an audience. I talked about how my girlfriend and I at the time just broke up. I talked about how after we broke up, she immediately stopped wearing a bra. And I was like, what is up with this? And I pretty much just, spoke from the heart. It seemed pretty funny. I was like, I am the man. I gotta be a comedian. The next day, our professor, like brought me in. I thought he was gonna bring me in to thank me and be like, we want you to be the MC at a party. He was like, you have been sued. The school has been sued. It turns out my girlfriend at the time's mom gave a lot of money to the film school, and she was upset that I defamed her name. So I had to send like all school apology. Like, I had to apologize. And ever since that day, I never talk about relationships. It's pretty much like it put a curse on me. Like, the one thing I thought you could talk about is like, my girlfriend's a bitch and a slut. I never talk about that stuff. I'm almost like strictly like office. I wasn't nervous at all. Like, because the thing is, like, I've always been kind of loud. I always speak what's, on my mind. Like, it's nothing, like, it was never The only thing was different was that no one else was talking. Like, there wasn't even a microphone. I just got on stage and it was like, hello, my name is Jon Lang. My heart is broken. Do you mind if I talk about it? And as I was talking about it, I was feeling better. You feel a certain relief, but the laughter made me feel like some control on it. And I was like, this is something I can do. The first job I got when I got out to LA, a friend of mine who did it before me said, you know what, dude, you make some money and you may get some material out of it. Yeah. And it was internet porn. It was live. And there was 2 cameras. There was like a wide shot and like a close-up shot. Being the rookie, the new guy, I had to do the close-up. So I was videotaping, and an important little part of the story is that it was live. So people would be calling in with requests, like, I want to see 2 women doing a 69. I want to see, like, the reverse scissor kick. And I would be like, what does that even mean? And so anyway, so I'm taping 2 girls forking it, and I hear this sound behind me. And it's just this. I'm like, what is that noise? I look to my left, and one of the crew members had his pants down, and he was masturbating. Like, there was porn behind the porn. Like, there was something going on behind me. And I was like, oh, my God, if that's got to be burned into my brain, it's got to be burned into all of America's brain. And I just imagine what would happen if I panned the camera to that guy. So I did it. I panned the camera over, and at that moment, like, every viewer who was watching that suddenly saw an old man masturbating. And, like, I'm sure they were like, who requested that? I don't want to see that. I'm canceling my subscription. And I ran. That was the last time I ever worked there. I didn't get paid. I was pretty sure they were going to kill me. But yeah, that was so that was one time. I shouldn't act like I had a career in it. It was just one time. Then I ended up working as like an assistant. It was Dr. Susan Block. And so it was a legitimate like porn shoot. And like the funny thing is I had a master's degree. Like, you don't need a master's degree to camera operate porn. Like, if you can hold a sandwich without like shaking off the fixins, like, you can camera out porn. Like, I don't know why I had a degree. Like, honestly, I could have done that like out of high school, middle school. I could be 8. I could have done that job. I don't know. I wore a suit and tie and everything, and there's like everyone else was like wearing lingerie. Like, I was out of place, but I did a good job. Like, I was really steady. I followed the action really well. I was probably the best camera guy that ever got, up until the point I showed that old man's wang. I love Zach Galifianakis. I dig how he goes. I mean, he does one-liners. He plays the piano. He tells stories. Like, he's not afraid to do crazy stuff to get a laugh. And like, I play the piano. I can grow a beard, and I feel like we both kind of have a certain zany, like, sensibility. And opening for him would be good because, hell, it's better than whatever I'm doing now.